Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Lucid, and I'm joined once again by Maryland.
Hello, everybody.
And it is now turn 40 in the tournament finals. So that means we're entering kind of the thick of the mid game.
We sure are.
People are starting to get some high tech research in wherever they focused, and everything's getting more complicated. Is what's happening.
Well, there's wars everywhere. Nobody is just sitting and waiting now with Vanheim coming into the action.
Right. So yeah, let's remind people where we were.
Yeah, we had a few turns there where we were saying, okay, Vanheim he's got freedom of movement or freedom of action because he had not committed to much of anything. We'd heard some discussion in Diplo that he was going to join in to put the kink on Pan, and then he did, and he moved out in a major way. So, and last turn we talked a lot about the matchup between Pan and Vanheim, how's that's going to go, what are their options, and we've watched major wars. End is pressed. He wasn't able to finish Agartha before he got Pan coming at him.
Right.
And Ashdod is in good condition, but we talked about his research is very, very low, and he's challenged there. The interesting one is Ulm, who, from the charts, should have tremendous tools available for research and thugging, but we haven't seen him pull much of that out. He's played a pretty cautious game.
Yeah.
And I noticed some comments with some other folks, I think, in the discussion area for the tournament, talking about Ulm's best option is in the mid game because it doesn't build so well into late game. So he's got an opportunity here to seriously act. Is he going to take advantage of it?
Right.
And I think the other summary is Pythium's now finished. Satis is, I think, struggling to. If I was to put myself in his head, I think he's struggling with, okay, what play do I make now? Because my prior plays kind of stumbled. He's not dead in the water, and hopefully he's calling his god back.
Yeah.
But, and then we also talked quite a bit about, what are Jotunheim's, what are his diplomatic options? Can he get Pelagia off his back a bit, regroup? He's done fairly well, but he took a couple of hard hits.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. That's
yeah. And then the Zabalba Ashdod war is rough in that there's lots of fighting, but it's mostly raid and counter raid. Although that big fight with the glyph was kind of impressive.
Right.
So we've seen a couple of really major moves by people tossing out those immobiles,
right,
by teleporting them.
Yeah.
So we've got the Bahamut or Bahamut, however you pronounce it, and then the glyph, both of them landing on top of things and shredding armies.
Right. Yeah.
So these are big plays.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are up in the air right now. There's the Pangaea war, which is up in the air with End. There's the Xibalba conflict, which is pretty up in the air now. And even how this Jotunheim Pelagia thing is going to play out is pretty uncertain.
We had the death of the Kraken.
Right. That was a brilliant maneuver, a surprise maneuver to kill that Kraken. So
totally caught.
All right, well, I'm excited. Let's get into this. We've got a message from Satis first. Making peace with Jotun and ending Nap with Vanarus. Hoping Pan's many wars will be bloody and incur mutual losses. Jotunheim has been playing extremely well considering he's been up against 4 or 5 players at once. Rip Mr. Hands clone. That is comforting to me that basically all epic Krakens are being labeled Mr. Hands clones.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay, I get it.
That was the name of my pretender god when I played Atlantis. I mean, I wasn't the first person to figure out that Krakens were good, but
well, I've been using them for years.
Yeah.
When I need a monster for a water nation.
Yeah, they're so good.
Well, I've got a story of when I had a real Yay game back in 4 where it got frogged, like toaded.
Oh, yeah. That used to be a thing.
Yeah, and then I called it back, not realizing that it would come back as a toad, and it drowned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that's been changed. But
Right.
anyways, so yeah, the four-handed Kraken, that's a good one. But he will call it back. I'm guaranteeing it. The only
it's
major hurt there is the loss of the gear.
well, and potentially losing the path. But yeah, I mean that's what you get him for. You get him to do that stuff.
Yeah, and most of the time when you're doing something like that, I tend to buy an extra path or two because you are going to risk it. Why get a monster that can teleport if you're not going to risk it?
Yeah. So let's look at the Satis situation because he's ended his nap with Vanarus, which by the way, I don't remember him having created. You know, I guess it makes sense though that they were gonna agree on some border and then focus on Jotunheim, which I think was what the plan was before.
I guess, but we've watched that crazy back and forth in this zone where you had to watch as just spectators. Was there any agreements whatsoever? Because it was a bouncing back and forth shenanigans.
Right. But now I don't know if there's going to be hardly anything left. I mean, maybe he can get the capital or the land, at least these two provinces, but that's more just like a slight vulture. But, you know, it's something. It's an activity. And we don't see his god back. And you had made a comment an episode or two ago that it's going to take a while for him to get him back because he doesn't have any priests. He got Marsh Masters, which have no holy.
Yeah, I don't think he hired very many of he's got those nice holy threes, and that would give him an option, but I don't think he bought very many of them. So maybe he's buying some more now.
Yeah.
But with he's got 4 forts, so he could pump them out now.
Okay. So that's interesting. He's got an army here with some reanimated long dead that will probably be doing some of this. With that, go ahead.
But he probably has a couple turn delay. I'm guessing a 2 turn or 3 turn NAP. So by the time he can actually move out without a violation, I don't know if Ulm's going to leave him anything.
Right. And I don't think we have a message from Ulm or from Vanarus, but since we were just talking about Vanarus and Satis, let's go ahead and take a look at this conflict.
That sounds like a good option.
So we have Vanarus raiding back out of his capital with a small little, extremely low commitment squad, expecting that would really only kill 1 PD. Here he rolls out.
Then, with what looks like a doom stack.
Okay, there was a... Wait, what? Oh, this was a magic phase attack.
Okay, so he did a magic phase first, and then...
moved in with the army behind it.
Probably... so we can't see much of the script or anything.
Right. But we can see here in the description, there's at least a few Vanarus sages. They're not the last thing on the list, so... some mage support. Ulm attacks on top of Vanarus's cap, which had a ton of dudes, which I was almost beginning to wonder if they were effigy of wars. Which is an item that inflates the appearance of your army size.
Yes. But no, this is just a little token PD killer.
Yeah, so very low commitment rate on top of Vanarus's cap. Wait, where? Okay. On top of Vanarus's cap. And Vanarus is starting to look a lot like Ulm. There's, this fort here is cracked. We didn't get to see any battles.
No.
Oh, he's also headed underwater. This is an interesting little raiding squad that Ulm has used.
With mechanical men.
Yeah, and add up to the Iron Order. It looks like he's going to do some Earth Elementals. Yeah.
Not sure what it looks like. And very
just so slay. Oh my god. See, this would terrify me. Because every time I try to do something like this and I think I'm clever, I swear to God, these guys run past whoever I put in front and murder my mage. Every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, it wasn't very many, but...
Well, I find if you're going to do that, it's best to use like 2 or 3 squads, smallish squads, and spread them a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that usually catches any flankers.
Right.
But it was a good play.
Yeah.
Very, very efficient play.
Because, yeah, I mean, Vanarus has almost nothing now.
Yeah. You can look at army size.
Province size. I mean, he's back to where he was on turn about 6.
Yeah, that's only 3. Ouch. No, 4. He's got 4 provinces. Although, I mean, technically, his capital is far from it, under major threat at the moment.
Yeah, so I think, my big question for this is, did Vanarus have a tech target they were rushing to, that they were keeping all those mages at home while he lost all this ground?
Yeah, I think you mentioned that before.
Yeah. So we'll have to see.
Any messages from
any
of these players?
None of these players sent us messages.
Okay. So we're doing our interpretation thing.
Right. Oh, wait. So that was just a scout coming out. And then Ulm goes inside Bandar Log with the commander just pinging. And we know the god is still in here. Okay. Mm-hmm. God is starting to very slowly acquire gear. I don't know how he can't. You should be able to get somebody to freely donate you gear if you're in his position. I would send him, if I wanted to slow Ulm down, I would send him gear and take whatever payment they could offer, even including none if they were actually broke.
And I would think that the two people most interested in doing that would be Satis and Vanarus.
Right. Okay, now check this out.
Oh, that's solid.
So this is a very similar thug as the one he had before.
Yeah, what's his heroic ability?
Precision. Yeah.
Bummer. And what's his affliction on that Yaksha?
Oh, it is weakened. Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. So he's got 2 Yakshas there, right?
This other one has a lot of earth, and I don't know what he's going to cast with it.
Looks like he's short of gems.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't see any gems. Probably a little body ethereal.
So, okay, let's take a look at what Ulm has on the outside and compare that to what we saw on the inside. It's some sappers, so they're keeping the wall knocked down.
Yeah.
And then he's got some mastersmiths, but
and some black priests. So should have iron darts, iron blizzard.
I mean, I think is this guy magic? Okay, yeah, magic, and this guy's magic too. So there's maybe a case that iron darts can kill him because of the magic. They do extra damage to magic beings.
Maybe, yeah.
But aside from that, maybe this stack on top may be thuggable.
It might be. The question for Bandar is, does he wait inside or does he try to punch out? Depends on if he's got any scouts still around. I mean, if he could see the doom stack of Ulm that's 2 away and a river in the way, it can't get back to him in time to significantly impact any break siege he tries.
Yeah. I'd probably go for it. I mean, sitting inside your cap, this is weak of forces you're going to get on top. Yeah. I think he needs arrow shield though, which
his Great Sita has a little bit of air magic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it could do Gift of Flight onto those Yakshas.
Well, it needs arrow shield for the Iron Blizzard, I think. You don't want to get close even with Iron Blizzard unless you have that
Arrow Fend?
Oh.
Or Air Shield.
Air Shield.
No, I was but I was thinking that for itself it could do that.
Yeah.
But for that Yaksha thug, if you placed it in the right location, you could put a Gift of Flight onto the Yaksha thug.
Yeah, it could do that too, but
some interesting options.
Yeah. I just went through a game where I was fighting Ulm with magic beings, and I definitely have a bit of respect for what what Iron Blizzard can do at shotgun range to magic beings. It's kind of ridiculous. So you gotta be careful. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I mean, this what's happening over here. Is this okay? So, Ulm had joined. Okay, we're gonna have to get into the Pangaea stuff because we are now in the main conflict because we can see over here Ulm and Pangaea are fighting, and that is because Ulm was one of the honorary members of the coalition. But you remember, this is like the coalition in air quotes because most people were very busy or weak.
Yes.
Or both. Yes. So let's see what they say. Do we have anything from... We don't have anything from Pangaea. We do have something from Vanheim, but I think we'll wait. Let's just look at the Ulm-Pangaea conflict first. So this is Arouse Hunger.
Okay, yeah.
And did not work. As Arouse Hunger tends not to, versus any amount of PD over 8.
Yeah, it's quite cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Relatively.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad harassment move. That's quite a bit of PD. 22
yeah, okay.
barbarians.
Yeah, that might have worked against 8. I forget how much you need. You probably need at least 10, probably 12 to kill it. But like archers do really well against ghouls and stuff too. If you have a priest as part of your commander, like your PD, it does well.
And their morale is not stunning.
Yeah.
So they run away. So that's a handful of white centaurs.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Oh, that's more than a handful.
Yeah.
That's enough to... Oh, and is that a... No, it's a caster.
Yeah, it's swarm.
It's a caster.
So this is not terribly interesting here.
Only that this does put some crimp into movement for Ulm. He doesn't have free movement anymore with these Pangaean raids.
Yeah. And I mean, Ulm raided over here. It looks like they've been coordinating though, so I don't think there were bumps. Yeah, so
it does. And Vanheim is everywhere.
Well, Vanheim's cut him off. So now, what does it really mean to be fighting Ulm as Pangaea? I don't know. I think
go back into stealth and
yeah, I'd go just fuck with Vanheim. Ulm isn't ready to fight Pangaea. It was kind of like, hey, we're in the coalition, and it's like, yeah, sort of. Are you
Maybe.
really?
Yeah, he's pretty committed. I mean, he's got 2 capitals under siege, and another fort under siege. So Ulm has got a heavy level of commitment. Oh my gosh, look at how deep that one Pangaean raid went.
Yeah, it was over here. I think it had been messing with End, and then it just came over here to poke Ulm. I actually don't super approve of this, like deep raiding. I mean, if you have nothing better to do and you're pretty sure nothing would happen, but like this. Okay, he attacked here. Like, do you gain anything from, like, okay, yeah, see, I got hit by crossbows. Yeah, but it's like,
Well, crossbow PD, that's rough. Well, for a caster thug without any... Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, I don't know. Non-traceable income, deep rating. I don't think you want to do it much, especially versus Ulm, because like Pangaea isn't interested really in keeping Ulm down. Pangaea just wants Ulm to fuck off, if you'll excuse my French. He doesn't. Yeah. He's not trying to eat Ulm. He just wants Ulm to leave him alone. I think.
Yeah. I guess it's just a case of, you do have a certain. There is a play in the game where you're working on the player's morale.
Yeah.
Disturbing a player and throwing him off his game. If you could do that cheaply by deep raiding. I've done deep raiding usually in fairly desperate situations just to constantly keep the other guy running backwards, having to take back little provinces that I grabbed.
Yeah.
But I like to do it really cheaply.
Right. I mean, this was minus like 20 gems, I think. Yeah, this is 20 gems of stuff. And a heroic toughness dude.
Well, for example, I think it was Jotun was doing it with just a relatively cheap bunch of the little guys. And I'm drawing a blank on their name. I mean, that's pretty cheap, right? And if it goes wrong...
Yeah.
The little size one guys.
The Bakemono dudes.
Bakemonos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a low commitment kind of option. 20 gem thug and a fairly costly mage is not so low commitment. Using the plain centaurs is pretty low commitment.
Yeah. But this is interesting because, I mean, Sai is almost certainly a better player than me, but this is very much against my intuition of how I would handle his position. And in his position, I would want to use these guys to kill people attacking me, not to deep raid. So that is what I would be doing.
Yeah.
But he's a better player than me, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see how this goes. I agree with you.
Let's switch over to Vanheim. So Vanheim, Pan offered me the throne I am sieging in return for peace. It's a quite tempting offer, but I have decided to turn it down. Pan is so strong that if he's not stopped now, he'll just eat End, including former Agarthan lands, and then needs to get and then the needed thrones elsewhere. I'm the only strong player in our coalition that can 100% focus on Pan, and without me, I think the coalition will break down. Well, I mean, he is the coalition. I don't think the coalition will break down, but I think he's right in his assessment that if
I do too.
If Pan buys peace with him, that means the destruction of End.
Yes. Yeah, and he really can't afford that.
Now, that being said, End had a very good reversal against Pangaea last turn with the movement of their god, etc. So
that's correct.
My plan is to raid Pan's lands while taking the throne. Should be breached next turn if he can't do Iron Walls. Then go for his cap in order to shut down Sacred Production. I'm also planning to try a little fun with Blackheart Van Jarls. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you can't cast Iron Walls on a currently sieged fort.
Oh, you can actually.
It only works on it. Can you?
Okay, I think the exception you're thinking of is if the fort is already cracked.
That's correct.
Then You're Iron Walls does nothing.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
But yeah, okay, this one is cracked now.
You have to have some walls.
And we didn't get a message from Pangaea this turn, so let's take a look. So Vanheim versus Pangaea.
Okay, so
high commitment elf thug.
Yes.
And this is a cat. So this is interesting, and I fully approve of this. Because oh my god, extraordinary agility too. This is a cap-only mage, and this is, in my opinion, way too expensive gear to put on a Van Jarl. But this is not a Van Jarl. This is an Earth Random Vanadrot. And these guys are nasty once you fully kit them out. And we'll see what's coming in. But these are very hard to kill without specialized counters, especially with this heroic trait. So summon Earth Power, Iron Warriors, or Iron Skin, Mist Form.
I think that the gems are just to give them Earth Power, just to give them reinvigoration.
Yeah, I think so.
That's it. And that's very cost effective. Okay, I was thinking, is he going to try to throw
because he's at reinvigoration 5 plus the hidden passive 1 means he's fatigue negative. So he's able to kill, and especially with having this dancing trident, and the firebrand and the hoof attack, this guy could probably kill like 200 units before the battle times out, at least.
Have you spent some time? I know I spent some time and I never got a solid answer on both the Stone Bird and the Dancing Trident as repel.
Yeah,
and they're kind of funny how that works.
I think they work just. I mean, they work. They're a length 5 repel item. So
Trident, I think, works well. The bird is a little weird. We noticed that all 5 of the bird's attacks will only hit a single square, but I wouldn't verify that that's absolute.
Oh, well, I think on the attack, that's right. I think for the repel, the number of attacks I don't think matters for the repel itself. But for for attacking, anything with multiple attacks, so like if this was the dancing bird or the floated flying bird or whatever it's called, it has 5 attacks. If it kills something on the first attack, it's done. If it attacks 5, it's not going to attack 5 random ones. It's going to literally focus all 5. I think it's at even 1 unit, but it may just be 1 tile.
1 unit, or it's 1 square. Yeah. But anyways, I mean, the Trident is much easier to make and much cheaper. and does the job in many cases. I'm quite fond of the Trident.
Yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. Pangaea has moved this army in, but he seems to know, hey, there's a chance that I bump here, and if I bump, I don't want to risk this guy. And so he has this guy retreat inside of his cap. And he's got some cataphracts coming out here. Now, what's interesting is this guy actually, with enough air elementals, I bet you 4 or 5 air elementals would kill this. Which I don't know if that guy could generate.
Does it have any shock resist? Some. How much?
Oh, it fit 5. But,
okay, but
it would get trampled if it was big air elementals, yeah.
Yeah, it would. Does have some regen.
Yeah.
And it just eats the centaurs.
Yeah.
Not too surprising. Okay.
So, okay, we didn't get to see anything super cool, but...
No. 4 Vanarus.
Oh, boy.
My. And they're the cheapo... Well,
this one's kind of a higher powered one. Then he's got 2 cheapos and 1 medium.
The high-powered guy looks like he's set up. That's a sort of sharpness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and a lifelong.
Lifelong protection. Thing is, it's not going to matter. There's too many Van Jarls. They have hoof attacks.
There's too many of them,
Yeah.
And a bit of
and they have brands, too. They have all frost brands. I mean, forget about it. They don't care. Oh, they're flying and jumping in the back.
And they got that guy.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that Van actually snagged that lifelong. I think you could capture lifelongs.
I'm not sure. A lot of those things which have to do with like making a pact with the devil.
The cursed ones?
The cursed ones. A lot of them you can't. But, you know, what do I know?
Well, they got rid of the old thing where you could capture a slave collar because that was such a cheesy, dirty trick.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was really sad.
Yeah, that was a dirty trick.
So it doesn't look... This is what's interesting to me is it doesn't look like Pangaea was doing much counter-raiding stuff. I mean, he had the 1 lifelong protection guy, but otherwise, he didn't really... Unless... I mean, he has white centaurs here, so this might have been a strong and powerful trap. But otherwise, like these provinces, which were pretty obvious raiding targets, I don't know if I would have expected him to come on my cap. But these 2, he kind of just let go of. And this one, importantly, has a lab in it. So he's going to, you know, cloud trapeze out of here.
Now he can cloud trapeze all over the place from there. This is a tough situation for Pangaea.
Yeah. You know, I mean, Marilyn, a few times ago, this was all Pangaea, and now he's got his cap under siege and has lost all of this.
Yeah, landing on his capital it hurts. You know, that removes some cap only recruitment, so that's pandemoniacs.
Yeah. And white centaur. You know, it's like killing 8 white centaur, however many he's making a turn.
Yeah, that's painful.
Okay. So continuing with the Pangaean conflict, Jotunheim isn't really involved in that. Vanheim, we already read.
And Ashdod and Zabalba really have nothing to do with it.
So
they're in a death match with each other.
Right. Okay, so over here, and on this arena, we have End attacking Pangaea with some tribals, and Pangaea just has a few Meneids and some PD.
So
but I think that's enough Meneids to overrun them. Yeah, but close.
Well,
yeah, that's close. So okay.
Twice as many archers, maybe.
And here we have Vanheim with a great sort of sharpness, chainmail of displacement. This is an interesting thing I find too, because people are like, "Oh no, it's 10 gems." You know, like why would you ever spend it? And I think that's probably one of the items that got like buffed in DE where they lowered the cost. Maybe I'm wrong.
They did.
Yeah.
I think they dropped it to 7 or something.
Right. But it's like, this is a good item. People will pay 10 for it sometimes. That's the niche use for it. Stack and defense.
Yeah. And that guy's a counter thug. So.
A holy 3. I think we know how this goes.
badly.
Yeah, because, well, he's got 50-something HP. Oh, but he's going to try to trample him. Yeah, versus a great sword of sharpness.
Yeah.
All right, and then Pangaea moving in with another one. Oh, fortunately he escapes. Oh my gosh.
Away. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. End attacking Pangaea here.
Oh, so he teleported in the god.
Right.
And we've seen how this goes.
But these guys with a hoof attack against Fire Shield 19. Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
That's a lot of flame.
Yeah.
And incinerate, so. And then he brings an army in with it. So now he's got to spend some gold and build a lab there, though.
Right. But it's not like End mines it. You know, they can get the cannibal shamans or whatever out of it. That's how they get their blood ones, is unforted labs.
Right.
Oh my goodness. This is a hard turn for Pangaea.
Oh, he got a pan unprotected with a dryad. And
these tigers hurt. Or yeah, not tigers, lions.
The many-colored lions.
Yeah,
they're pretty solid.
Oh, you know what I think though, Maryland? This, I was like, okay, what is he scripting? He wasn't expecting this army to get magic faced on. This army was probably going to meet up with these guys here.
Right.
And yeah, wrecked. And then here,
way out of position.
A bunch of little light rating things.
And little PD.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good counterattack by End. You know, he's doing quite well. Strange bird.
Yeah, it's the summer. End gets attacked in the middle of summer by birds on all of their forts that have Piccini recruits. They're little hobbits. It's so annoying because nobody thinks about it. Nobody's like, oh, it's middle of summer's coming, unless you're like
and I got
more
birds
detail oriented.
Everywhere.
Yeah. He lost the Holy 3 dude here, so that's annoying. But
oh, good grief.
It always happens at the worst time.
Yeah. Well, so we've kind of moved from Vanheim over to Pan to End. Just give me 1 second. I will be right back.
Okay, I'm going to keep talking. We're going to talk about the Agartha thing. So, Agartha raiding out with some magma children. Strange birds attacking End here. And moving a big force over here on this. So this is the northern part of Agartha, but the southern part of Pangaea. Oh, this looks like a thug he caught. I don't know, this is just a swarm caster, a very light raid.
So is that like a briefly a fail by one of those?
Yeah, it's just a little swarm caster. So this is thoroughly derailed End.
Well, except so Agartha broke that one siege.
Right. This is a problem for both for End and for Pangaea, because Pangaea just got kind of stomped this turn.
It did.
But for End, this isn't good. He needs to finish off Agartha.
Yeah, because Agartha is starting to do the breakouts with the inexpensive counter raids.
Yeah. You know what would be interesting is, I think End was right to sound the alarm and say, hey guys, I need help or I'm going to get eaten by Pangaea. Right? Even though that may not have actually been the case with just how things have going. But Pangaea's obviously had to like backtrack a lot of his troops to keep from... I mean, I hope he's doing that to keep from losing to Vanheim.
Right.
But, so while he needed to sound the alarm, I think it makes sense for these guys to make peace, which is a weird thing for End to get other people to fight Pangaea and then for him to peace out. But he really would want, and if I were playing End, I would really want to peace out with Pangaea.
Yeah, I would.
Because I want to finish Agartha.
I'd be quite willing to sell the northwestern part of Agartha to Pan and just say, you can have it.
Well, yeah. Or some, yeah. I think peace is valuable for both people, so.
Yeah.
Well, but it's weird because he would then leave the coalition like stranded, so he might have to do some weird thing where it's not like technically a peace, but they just agree to boundaries, and if they don't attack each other, then they're,
Yeah, they could do a background diplomacy thing that nobody knows about, where they just say, okay, or even just
a hiatus, like a 6-turn hiatus.
Or I've even done things where I'm going to make a token attack against you. It won't be strong enough to take 10 PD. Put up 10 PD. It'll look like I'm fighting.
Yeah.
Disinformation, basically. Various forms of disinformation.
Yeah, because God, End really needs to finish off Agartha so bad. This Pan War is the worst timing for them. And I think before, okay, Pangaea might be like, okay, you cheesed one of my armies. Pangaea last turn, even though it was kind of a bad turn for him, he might not have been willing to make peace.
Maybe.
But I feel like this turn he should. He's gotten let's look at the graphs. I feel like he's gotten stomped this turn. Oh my God, look at these turns. Look at this.
Yeah. And End, actually, if you looked at End's provinces, they're fairly stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he counter-rated reasonably successfully. I'm curious about army size. Has anybody taken a big hit to their army?
Oh, well, this may be a spoiler, so here we go. No.
No. Who's dark brown? Almost black, dark gray.
This looks like Xibalba. Yeah.
Ooh,
so spoiler, yeah.
So I just had an interesting thought for End, and this is a little costly, but here's just a brain fart or a brainstorm. If End teleported the Bahamut right on top of Agartha, that more or less invalidates all the magma kids. And it could just sit there. And it would stop Agartha from moving in and out.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think you take a god and put it in heavy enemy dominion and say, I bet you can't kill this.
Yeah.
You could do it as like a one-time thing. But
then he can't get it out until he cracks the fort.
Yeah, I mean, you could put him on, then have him return off the next turn or something. But you don't take your god and put it on top of Agartha's cap and say, I bet you can't kill this. Like, that's very disrespectful.
Yeah, it's just that locking down those little counter raids is pretty important for End.
Yeah,
because as long as Agartha can pop in and out with those little counter raids of magma kids on a Earth Raider, that's just a constant, never-ending harassment.
Yeah.
And he's got no armies big enough to go siege Agartha's capital now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that covers this whole thread. And, I mean, the only people who we have not involved in any way in this great war is Zabalba and Ashdod, I think. So let's go to them. Yeah,
so we've talked Van.
Oh, we can go to Jotunheim too. Who's Jotunheim? Oh, we have Jotunheim and Pelagia, but we'll do Zabalba Ashdod next. So first from Ashdod, mission god drop successful. All right, we saw that last episode. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
YOLO drop plays continue this turn. Luck 3 gave me a lab like everywhere around my cap, including the province Zabalba siege chaff is now moving through. He may try to destroy it. Carrying some pearls for returning. Yeah, if you magic phase, though, onto a lab, they can't destroy it in time.
I believe that destruction comes after magic phase, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Carrying some pearls for returning if needed the next turn.
Good call.
Targeting his chaff this turn will only leave his raiders. I've also randomed a random 0 S2 I can't talk. I've also randomed 0 Astral 2 add-on, sadly, but the Air 2 illusionists are coming are starting to come online. That was from that site he got from Jotunheim.
Correct. That's an excellent site. Yes.
The Drain Life was problematic, and I got a bit lucky with the timely route. Yeah. If these Drain Life casters were mages from Xibalba that were starting to just zap the shit out of him, but then they routed at the end. I'm picking up Evocation 4 so my god can drop some longer range area of effect, Thunderstrike, Strange Fires, Fire Cloud off script. I'm bringing the third son Fluffer again. He retreated to a lab too. This time the Fluffer, God, I really would not want to use him. That was a Fluffer. He's so like I've wished for this guy before. He's such a good unit.
Yeah.
It's because he has that extra miscellaneous slot. This time the Fluffer is staying through versus the Living Chaff, in part because I can't get a normal phase Earth Fluffer there if he retreats. He's got some gear that I have laying around, so it makes sense for him being in close proximity to my god's area of effect spells. Xibalba did have a great sort of sharpness holder last turn, but Rigger did him in. My god incinerated him, but as he's on a lab, but he's on a lab, so definitely expect some god counters this time. No risk, no glory, Ashdod friends. I'm sorry, I can't read. On the Jotunheim front, I'm gym baiting, so they haven't made peace apparently. I'm gym baiting his squad in the waste. I am sure he has a scout mule, but he's not carrying on the battlefield enough gems for 2 phases right now. Another calculated risk here. If he doesn't get Arrow Fender Rigger off twice, or normal Blood Communion, I think my 30 Giants with Flaming Arrows can take it if he moves onto the fort.
Okay. And we should note that this turn was played, 2 months ago or more, right?
Right.
So the new patch for changes to the gem bait rules had not come through.
Right. Okay, so a message from Xibalba. Are you not entertained?
Yes,
I think we're entertained.
We are quite entertained.
Got set back by Ashdod's glyph pretty hard, but next moves are coming. Okay.
All right.
Further entertainment awaits. I'm excited.
Well, and Ashdod commented he's expecting some counter thugs or SC killer thugs.
All right. So this is the main course. We're not going to mess around with appetizers. This is the god coming in. Ring of Regen, some reinvigoration, 2 pearls for returning if he needs to. Third son of Anak, you can see he's got the 3 miscellaneous slots. Oh, very nice. And some very basic gear.
And how much fire resist?
20. So he's going to be fine.
Okay, so he's safe. He should. Oh, but a good portion of Xibalba's guys are running already.
Oh yeah, he has some retreating. I can't tell what these guys are scripted for. This guy looks like power. He may do Power the Spheres and Soul Slay on this guy, or he could do turn 1 anti-magic. I can't. There was that one great sort of sharpness thug we saw. This guy.
But it died. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, this one here. But aside from that, let's see.
Spell just
that was rain. I thought it was storm.
Okay, so that's gonna fatigue out the glyph, but
ooh, horror mark casting.
Ooh, okay.
That's going on third son of Anak. Oh, nope, now it went on this guy. So they're both horror marked.
Well, hopefully, for the sake of Ashdod, if we're hoping for him, he gets this done quick. And some thunder strikes, and that was it. So not very many horror marks. So he's still got a decent life left ahead of him.
Yeah.
And some soul slays, okay.
But, he lost a little bit of chaff. It's not the end of the world for him.
No, and he only had a single retreat pass, so at least he's not running around collecting, dudes everywhere. That's always a nuisance when you got multi-retreat pass, so you gotta go collect everybody.
Right.
So a single slave, a few skeletons, but a lot of... I see. Oh yeah, that was gonna go well.
And, okay. He got twice turned into a white mage now, but...
Okay.
That was just a little low commitment thing in case Ashdod didn't have anything there. And Zabalba doing some very low commitment raiding down here. Just a little bit of horde of skeletons. Oh, loses one of the guys. But these guys are twiceborn, so he doesn't even care. Independents attacking this same province. Just a few villains.
Very few. Very few. So this looks a little inconclusive this turn, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Can the militia hold? No. Oh. No. I thought maybe that PD might hold. No. That's too many skeletons. Yeah.
So tiny little pokes and prods here from Xibalba, and you know some of them worked, these two, and then some of them don't. Unfortunately for Xibalba, this move by Ashdod to take this with his god has cut off any income he can get from any of his raiding.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. You can get the gems, right?
Yes, because he has a lab. If you can trace to a lab, you get gems, and there's a lab here, so...
Right.
Now, there was a battle here where there was... Oh, gosh.
Holy cow. So that's... Imagine phase something.
Actually, before I spoil this, I want to read the message from Jotunheim, because I think we've mostly covered... I mean, there was this, which was not worth looking at. But
except for... Just note that that army is now positioned to do something a little bit bigger. That Ashdod army.
This one.
What? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we've covered this part of the conflict. So I want to pull up Jotunheim, and we'll see what Jotunheim has to say. I'll take killing one more god. And I think you've got some messages that are I can hear through the stream, Maryland. If you mute those. Is that you?
I don't know why that would be coming through.
Okay.
But are you hearing pings from
Discord pings, yeah. Okay, so message from Jotunheim. I'll take killing one more god, seeing what it cost me last turn. Yeah, okay, that was an epic kill against the Kraken. That's what he's talking about. Scouts are running low, haven't been able to recruit any in a while, and they're slowly getting patrolled out as they move. Interesting to see Midgard attacking Pan, who started fighting End. Hopefully Van Pan will keep each other in check for a bit. Yeah, that's going to be an intense fight. My only chance of getting back into the game is those leading powers, Van, Pan, Zabalba, Alm, maybe Ashdod and End in this order. Interesting he's not including Pelagia at all. I'm fighting each other for a long while I slowly get back provinces. The fish first, then Ashdod stuff, and maybe eat some of Vanarus stuff, depending on how this Ulm versus Vanarus war goes.
Okay.
Betting on Ulm, Vanarus hasn't shown any ability to fight back since the beginning of the game. Yeah, that's sort of true.
Yeah.
Satis, I wish wasn't so awkwardly positioned compared to me, or I'd gladly go to war with him in his lands. He's been in pain for a while now, not respecting my forces. Research, going on Enchantment 7... That gives some interesting things.
Mass flight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to buy some crystal matrices, get match flight up. Will be a nice surprise coming from Utgard, though my assailants now know I have a bunch of air mages.
Okay. Yeah, so he could probably buy them from Ulm, I would think.
Yeah.
I can't. Ulm would have a problem selling to him.
I don't know what happened, and maybe we missed it, or maybe I'm forgetting, but what's implicit in his message here is he's going to first take this stuff back from the fish, and then he's going to take the stuff back from Ashdod, and he's planning on doing it at the same time. And to me, that seems like a bad plan, but...
I don't know. I read that he was going to just focus on pushing the fish back.
Yeah,
and then go towards Ashdod.
Okay, yeah, he did say fish first.
Yeah,
so
that's how I read that.
There was a lot of action in here, and this is one of the provinces. This wasteland was one of the provinces Ashdod was talking about. So first, a Pelagian Merle Mage comes into gym bait.
there's the bait. It worked.
It worked. Then Ashdod comes in with an Air 2 with a boatload of gems.
But
This does not gem bait.
no. Well, they might not have had any gems because they already burned them.
Well, that is an excellent point, Marilyn. Let's figure out if you're right.
Well, he may still have some gems on some of those magi, but I don't see any blood slaves.
Yeah, there's some gems on this one. Some gems on that one.
But no slaves. So.
But
no
if their gem usage is mostly dependent... Okay, here's a death one. Is mostly dependent... Because he put up rigor mortis. You can't put up rigor mortis without a communion. So if the blood slaves are gone, that could stop a lot of these things from going.
Yeah.
But they would be spending gems on other things. Like if you have a gem requiring spell scripted and you have conservative gem use on, and the gem threshold trigger hits because you're fighting a big enough army, it will spend those gems during that slot where you scripted another spell that uses gems, even if you can't cast it.
Right. Right.
So I don't think that was actually the threshold, but we'll see. And then Pelagia coming in with the Chad gelatinous cube. Truly the Arco trademark by this point.
That's pretty funny. So he's going to enlarge it, protect it, moss body it.
Okay, but these are the... Oh, wait, no. Oh. He should just eat it, right? Because they...
Well,
okay, there it
only
went.
if you got it. Oh, there it went. Okay.
Okay, but then it dies.
Okay. Yeah.
And
That
then
was just 2 minutes.
Ashdod attacking.
With the scope. Maybe they just patrolled that out.
So, wait, Jotun didn't move? How did this... Because they all got gem baited unless... Okay.
Oh, I think they got blocked.
Oh, that's also possible.
I'm thinking this was not intended to be by itself.
Okay, so Pelagia was gem baiting that stack so that when he moved up here, Pelagia would be fighting them without gems.
But they didn't get there. Only the little secondary force got there.
No, but that wouldn't have... You can't... If you magic phase onto it, you don't stop them.
No. So
I don't know what happened.
I'm not quite sure. I guess we'd have to open 39 to see where those armies were. Or maybe I can...
Well, we know, because these were magic phase attacks here. Right? And it's 67 dudes.
Yeah, so
and then we're in normal
so
phase attacks here, and it's about the same number.
And they didn't move.
They didn't move. They hung tight.
Okay.
Maybe he was waiting for, like, gems on a scout to come in or something. I don't know.
It's a good question.
Okay, and he's raided these two provinces back from Pelagia. He's starting to feel confident after killing the Kraken. Takes this one back from Pelagia, and Pelagia takes this one back from him. So this turn is making it look like he's starting to get his feet back under him.
Mm-hmm.
The caveat to that is, where are his armies? There's this one. He had sort of had one up here that killed the Kraken, but I mean, oof.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's a fairly confusing situation. He's doing fine. How big the army? You see the green. There's a green. Don't know the province number. Just to the northeast to that two up.
This one? Wait, where?
No, the Jotunheim army. There's a green icon for the Wolfolk. That one there. How big's that? 20 units.
20 units.
Okay, so
that's a little piddling of an army. Yeah. Well, I mean, he had one here, right? And he split part of it up north, right? And he split part of it down here. He split part of it down here, but...
And what happened there? That's just killing PD?
Yeah.
In the forest? Okay.
And yeah, well, this was Pelagia taking him, and this was killing PD. Yeah.
So...
Okay. I think diplomatically he needs to make. I think clearly he hasn't made peace with Ashdod since Ashdod was talking about gym Pythium. I think you make peace with Ashdod. Ashdod will be more than happy after recent events to probably go try to focus on Zabalba. And just the thing that sucks though is like then you're stuck fighting Pelagia, which maybe that's not even the right play. I wouldn't.
No,
I would try to make peace with Pelagia probably. But then that means who do you fight? Do you come Vulture Xibalba? I mean, all he can do right now, he needs to be in a Vulture war, right? So actually getting out of all of his wars and just vulturing on whoever loses some conflict is probably the best play for him while he rebuilds.
It does make sense to me. I don't think he will ever take that 1/4 that Pelagia took back. That's just impractical to consider.
Yeah.
And
I don't even think I would want it that much at this point.
So the best he can hope for is just putting Pelagia on the defensive or coming to some settlement of a border agreement. Because he can't advance against Pelagia, so he can't significantly grow that direction. That's just pretty darn hopeless. Trying to go into the water will be a nightmare.
Yeah, I think you have to. This is what I would do. I would say, let's come up with some offer. Okay, like you took this fort off me fair and square, you get to keep it. I'll let you have one other province on the beachfront, right? Mm-hmm. And you pick, but I'm going to have the other two. But I want a long-term peace agreement unless I'm losing a war, and then I'll let you vulture me.
Well, and then I'd go beat up Satis.
Right, and then I'd go pick somebody else, and I'd go fight him. Now, if Pelagia says no to that, like if Pelagia says, I want the whole beachfront...
They aren't terribly good provinces.
Yeah.
They're
pretty. They're okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
but obviously, if he wants to move at Satis, for example, he needs that forest. He could give up the farm and take the forest, keep the forest, gives him a turn. Or if he wants to focus on Ashdod.
Yeah, or Zabalba, or Ashdod. But these wars are both on the diagonal, which is kind of shit also. But
yeah, but he's kind of stuck there with all of his wars now on the diagonal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's it. I would try to make... if Pelagia tried to take the most greedy offer they could, like they were going to want the entire waterfront or something, then I would probably just say, okay, well, in that case, I'm just going to dedicate myself to injuring your game as much as possible. I'd get out the Bane Venom charms. I'd start doing remote spell spamming at his forts. And just, he's already in a position it's going to be hard to lose. I mean, it's going to be really hard to win now. But that's probably what I'd do if Pelagia didn't make some reasonable accommodation on the coast.
I would be surprised if Pelagia won't make peace because he told us quite clearly when we talked to him a few turns back that his goal was simply to play spoiler for this part of the game while he builds up his late game play.
Yeah, but I think also a little bit the situation is Jotunheim is pretty weak, and I think Pelagia is starting to get the predator instinct to go kill him.
He could have changed his mind and decided he can actually kill you. He's got no real help now because Ashdod's too involved with Zabalba.
Okay, Jotunheim has okay research, better than I thought, but Pelagia is still a good 20% ahead, 25% ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you there, Marilyn. What do you want to finish that thought, or do you?
It was just that, we're always kind of guessing at some of the motivations when the players don't give us a message. So if we go back to Arco's strategy he explained roughly 10 turns ago, it was a sleeper strategy and he was just going to play spoiler, but he seems to have maintained a commitment to fighting Jotunheim more than I would have expected. As soon as I thought that as soon as Pangaea made a major grab, he would switch around.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, on that front, these two guys fighting each other is a pretty good development from him. So the weird thing about this is if Pangaea's winning, he can stab Pangaea. But if Vanheim starts winning, he can't stab Vanheim. So
weakening Pangaea too much isn't great.
Right, because then he's going to basically give Vanheim a ton of free stuff. So he probably, if anything, would want Pangaea to slowly win. That way he gets called in to like graciously save the day, right? And
oh wow. Well, I don't know what else to say about this. Some of these situations are quite clear, and some of them are not. This Pangaea Yotenheim conflict has a sort of a flavor of bizarreness to it. It's almost like they've gotten their stubborn on, and they're not going to back down no matter what. They're just going to keep beating on each other.
Maybe. Arco is not a stubborn player, though. I'll just say that.
No, I'm not so either. And he hasn't told us anything more after losing his Kraken.
Right.
He did. I think he was talking on your Discord in the channel discussing the turns that you'd already posted on. Yeah, that was an unexpected little glitch in his plan.
Right.
So that's a bit of a setback, but he's got some big armies there.
Yeah, army size. Yeah, Pelagia versus Jotunheim. Yeah, Pelagia is like twice the army size of Jotunheim. He's 20% higher tech.
And Jotun's armies are spread.
Yeah, and
he's got scattered a lot of directions.
And if he gets enough of the elemental mages summoning elementals, they're not going to care that much about rigor mortis skelly spam, which is kind of the whole game from Jotunheim right now. So I think there's a decent chance he goes for the kill. But the other thing too is like if there's and it could be he's waiting on a development. Like he might just wait for Jotunheim to suicide one more army somewhere. And he's going to be kind of cautious until one more army gets suicided. Like maybe this goes on to Ashdod. And then he goes for the kill. Or I don't know. He wants this. It's pretty clear to me. He wants this to be an easy war. He's not in a hurry. He's going to picket things. Like he was trying to picket stuff with his Kraken and picket various things. And once things are picked down enough, then he'll make a major commitment, is what it looks like to me.
Well, and I don't know if he had diplomatic negotiations, because clearly they were both gem baiting that one Jotun army, both he and Ashdod. But it didn't sound like they were coordinating together.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So I think that's it. We just hit an hour, so pretty good time to end it. Any closing thoughts? Everybody.
I'm really looking forward to next turn, because I think we're going to see a couple of neat moves with gods flying around, and we might see some major army to army action that shows off some advanced scripting. This was mostly raid and counter raid, almost this whole episode.
That'd be a good title for it.
Yeah, the raid and counter raid episode.
Yeah,
because that's pretty much everything we've watched in this one. It's just been raids and counter raids, very low commitment from almost everybody.
Yeah. That's a great summary. So thank you for joining me once again, Maryland.
You are most welcome.
And thank you all for watching.
All right. Bye, guys.